Hello my friends, my name is Evelyn Joy and welcome back to my channel. This is my seed starting area, my seedling area here on April 1st before our estimated last frost date. Now I've been growing some seedlings and my tomato plants have not been doing well. So obviously, I'm not a good tomato plant seedling starter. Okay, so all those pretty much died. I've got one tomato plant that's still alive, but it's not very happy with me right now. Okay, so on the contrary, all of these, all the purple ones are watermelons. This blue one's a zucchini. This green one, these two green ones are honeydews. So those ones are doing well. My pea plants, I had two of them I already transplanted outside. My beans are starting to sprout, looking good. I've got some little sprouts over here. So anyway, because my tomatoes were not doing well, tomatoes and peppers pretty much not doing well, I found somebody that's a gardener in my city, and I purchased some plants that she started and didn't have room for. She had extra. So look, you see these little sprouts on the sides? I'm gonna start to pinch those off, okay? These sprouts are the beginning of little branches, right? Why would I pinch them off? Good question. So tomato plants, when growing just naturally in the wild, they grow along the ground. When they're on the ground, the reason gardeners don't grow them on the ground is because they tend to be more diseased. The insects get to them easier, the animals get to them easier, and they take up a lot more space of your garden. So they're a lot healthier plants and more productive when they grow upwards and they take up less space. So people use tomato cages, people use bamboo poles, people use trellises. I'm gonna do a little bit of everything so I can compare notes this year because this is my second year gardening. This right here, I don't know if you can see it. See this right here, this little bitty one right here? That is called a sucker. And there's actually another one right here. So what happens with the suckers? You could not pull them off. The reason they're called suckers is they suck the energy from the plant. So these little suckers tend to grow. Sometimes what will happen is another branch will grow there. Sometimes the other branch grows there and this branch continues to live. Sometimes the sucker grows and that branch dies below it. So we like to prune those off to conserve energy. So I'm pruning off the little suckers. Okay, so because tomato plants grow along the ground, I don't know if you can see real closely. Yeah, see the little hairs? All those little hairs on the stem, as soon as they touch the ground, they start to form roots. So what we do with the plants when they're about this size is we, take off some of the little branches and leaves at the bottom so that we can plant it down deeper. Why plant it deeper? A plant's root system is where it gets its water from. So the deeper the roots, the healthier and stronger the plant, the better, base it has. And it can reach for water in the soil better, right? So the deeper the roots, the better. So when you're starting off with a plant like this, you want to remove all the leaves from below so that you can bury it down deeper. Now I'm gonna go so far as to take one more off. Okay, now leaves that are touching the ground, I'm gonna take one more off actually, sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna bury it this deep. Leaves that touch the ground tend to get diseased and stuff, so that way all of this can be a nice deep root system. Okay, so here we have another one. I have these little leaves growing right here. Okay, right here. Now tomatoes are cold sensitive. Okay, what does that mean? Tomato plants love growing at like 80-degree weather. They love full sun all day long. They love, you know, lots of rain. And they need some support when there's strong winds and stuff, but they get stronger when they deal with wind. So these that I'm burying, I'm going to bury them up to here, right? And here's a little tiny sucker. I'm going to take off. I'm going to be, burying them up to here and have them right next to a trellis. So as they grow, you know, you have to tie them to the trellis. What can you use to tie them? I just saw someone share that one of the best things you can use is elastic. So, like anything stretchy. A lot of people cut up t-shirts for a free option for tying. Some people buy like plastic ties that are like circles that click together. I bought some of those. Again, I'm going to be trying different things to compare notes. I have some rubber bands. I might try that. But be careful. You don't want to use like zip ties unless it's loose. Last year I was successful using yarn because I have plenty of yarn. But you want to not use something that's going to cut into the plant. So something that's not too hard, right? You're not going to want to use like metal or something like that, right? So again, this is a super sweet cherry tomato plant. So I'm taking off the little bitty leaves and the little branches down below because I'm going to have a deep root system, and this is going to, in the long run, help the plant a lot, right? Now, my estimated last frost date is the end of April. So people in my city say it's safe to plant outside Mother's Day. When it's, you know, plants that are not cold hardy. I am going to be planting these outside today. Why? What am I going to do with that, right? So I'm going to plant these outside today. This week we're going to have weather ranging from 40 degrees to 80 degrees. All this week. It's the first week of April. It's very rare that we have a frost in April where I live. So I'm taking a risk. And I have clear plastic boxes that I will cover them with whenever we have cold nights predicted. That way they can begin to build their root system. I don't really get great sunlight in this room. And so they need their direct sun, and that's kind of partly why I wasn't able to start successful tomato plants inside, because I don't get great sunlight in here and the grow lights were just not enough. So I've been taking my seedlings outside during the day on nice days, but my little tiny tomato plants were not doing well.
This is a nightlight.
It is a nightlight.
It's not just a toy, because look, I just turned it on.
Do you want to show it on the camera?
Yeah.
This is from Dollar Tree. Deborah went with me to Dollar Tree, just Deborah, and Esther said, I'll stay home, but you pick me out a treat. So that's what she picked out for her sister. Are you happy with what she got for you?
I really wanted this kind of unicorn in my room.
Are you super excited about it? Tell your sister thank you and give her a big hug.
Okay.
All right. So I'm, again, taking off these. It may seem cruel to take off these bottom branches, but really I'm helping the plant in the long run. So we're going to keep the top of it. It almost looks like a palm tree, but again, when I bury it, it's going to be down here. You don't want your leaves touching the ground. And again, all of this stem, I'm going to dig down a deep hole, and all of this stem is going to start to have a really nice root system so that we can grow some yellow pear tomatoes and some super sweet cherry tomatoes. So I'm excited about it. I might even take you with me outside today as I dig and bury these. Now, that little bitty bell pepper plant that she gave me, I'm going to keep that inside until it gets big enough to be okay outside.
Maybe some scissors to cut this off.
Okay, if you get me some scissors, I'll cut it for you.
Okay, I'll get this.
I will do it. Give me 1 second. Joshua. How are you doing? There you go, sweetheart. Hey, Joshy. I love you. Okay, so I trimmed all of this off. Yeah, so here we go. So now let's look at our plants. I'm taking the suckers off. This is gonna, give my plants a nice, good, fresh beginning. I'm also gonna be using potting soil where I'm burying them so that they can have lots of nice nutrients to feed them. So yeah, looking forward to it. So again, this one is a yellow pear. This one is super sweet cherry tomato. This one is super sweet cherry tomato. This one is a yellow pear. I'm gonna plant the yellow pears together and the super sweet cherry tomatoes together. So I have 4 of the super sweet cherry tomatoes. I have 2 yellow pears. I'm really looking forward to having 80-degree weather this week. That's going to be really good for getting these plants established. But again, if ever it gets to the 30s or 20s, heaven forbid, in April, that very rarely happens here in Kansas, but on rare random occasion, we do get the one-day dusting of snow in April. I know, it's crazy here. But yeah, I'm going to go plant these. All right, here we are outside. Hey, my friends, here are my little tomato plants that I just pruned. And here we are at the site where I'm going to be planting them next to the tomato trellis. Let's go. Okay, so here are my 2 yellow pear tomatoes, and I've dug 2 holes for them. Let's put them in. Okay, so now I'm going to fill it in with potting mix. All right, here I have 2 sweet cherry tomato plants and 2 holes that I've dug. I'm gonna put them in now. Okay, there we have it. Now I'm gonna fill it up with potting mix. Here we go. Here I've dug 2 more holes. Okay, now I'm gonna fill up with potting mix. All right, now I'm gonna put hay down on all of these. Thank you for joining me on today's gardening adventure, and feel free to like and subscribe for updates on my garden. Thank you. Bye.